Welcome. Today we're going to talk about drawing a different type of ring, one that has a flat top on it to put our text on. Let's take a look at how this works. We're going to begin with New, Standard IPT, and click Create. We're going to begin with a 2D sketch from the upper left-hand corner of our ribbon. We're going to place that on our XY plane. To draw our ring, we're going to begin with our circle. We're going to start at our origin, wait for you to get a green dot, click, and stretch out a rectangle. This is where you're going to type in the dimension that you got from the circle template you used to size your finger. When I used the circle template to size my finger, I ended up with 0.875. I could also, since it says in fractions on the circle template, I could type in a fraction, 7/8, and type that in as a fraction, and then press return or enter on the keyboard. Press the escape key. Now we're going to take an offset to give our ring our distance. So I want to offset this circle using our offset tool, offset our circle, and I want to go to the outside. If you make this go to the inside, the ring is going to be too small to fit your finger. So I'm going to offset, and I want to offset 1/8 of an inch, and I can do that by typing in 1/8 or 0.125, and then press enter on the keyboard. That looks pretty good. Next, in order to create a flat top on our ring instead of having a curved surface, I'm going to use my rectangle tool. And with my rectangle tool, I want to get the 9 o'clock position. Do you see how your cursor snaps to that 9 o'clock position? Once it snaps onto that 9 o'clock position, click, and then I want to make sure I'm coming across with my rectangle as high as my outside circle and all the way over to the right hand side. Okay, once I'm touching the top of that outside circle and the right hand side of that circle, I'm going to click, press the escape key. Now I need to trim out some of the areas that I don't need, so I'm going to select my trim tool from my toolbar at the top, my ribbon, and I'm going to trim out this part of my circle, this part of my circle, and the bottom part of my rectangle I need to take and trim out as well. So those 3 areas right here we need to trim as well. That looks pretty good. So next we're going to take in green check mark finish sketch, and we're going to extrude. If it does not automatically pick up your geometry, we're going to take and move your cursor to the ring, and you're going to click when that highlights pink, just like mine is. Make sure you're clicking the outside of the ring, not the inside where your finger goes. Then to our extrude menu, I want to extrude in direction 2, this button here. And I'm going to extrude a distance, highlight this area for distance, and I'm going to extrude a distance of 3/8 of an inch, or 3/8, or I could type in a decimal of 0.375. Either one is fine. Make sure you're going direction 2 and click OK. Next, we're going to take and put our text on the top. So there's my basic ring shape. Your finger goes through the middle here. I'm going to take and put some text on the top. So I'm going to 2D sketch, place that on the top flat surface of my ring. Then I'm going to get my text tool from the ribbon bar at the top, and I'm going to click to place my text. Here, I think I want to have bold selected. Now, Toma, you can play around with the fonts, but let's start with Toma, and if you don't like that font at the end of this, you can take and play around with some of the other fonts. Toma seems to work pretty good. I'm also going to take and center this, so I want middle justification, this button here, click, and I am going to end up typing, and you can even put some special characters in here. Okay, select all that, and I want it center justified. Okay, and click OK. Now that my text is on the screen, I'm going to press escape to let go of my text tool, and I'm going to grab my text and I'm going to move it onto the center of my ring. Center it the best you can, right to left and top to bottom. That looks pretty good. Next, we're going to take and finish sketch. And I'm going to use my emboss tool right here in my ribbon bar. The first thing I want to do is click my profile, which is my text that I want to have. Next, I want to wrap it to the face. So I'm going to click wrap to face and choose the surface here, the rectangle that we drew. And I want to change the height of that extrusion from 0.1 to 0.05. And then click OK. That looks really nice. Happy with that. Text looks good. The next thing is this sharp edge going around. I'm going to press escape to let go of my rectangle or my rotate tool. This sharp edge going around on my ring where the finger goes into, I'm going to take and put a fillet on that in order to make it a little bit more comfortable. So I'm going to use my fillet tool from the ribbon. I'm going to change my radius to a 1/16 of an inch. 1/16. I'm going to type in 1/16 of an inch. And then I'm going to choose these two surfaces of my ring. If you wanted to do more, that's fine, but this top edge probably won't let you fillet it because the text is too close to the edge. And then click OK or click Apply. And then click Cancel. That puts a nice fillet in there. Next, I want to take and change my material type. So right up here at the top in the menu, I'm going to click Default. And I can scroll down and choose all different types of material. I'm going to try dark green. Now let's try a blue wall paint glossy. That looks nice, nice butler blue. Then I'm going to take and go to my orange capital letter I in the upper left hand corner, and I'm going to come down to Save As. I'm going to make sure that I'm going into my H drive, first initial last name 000, and for my file name I'm going to type my last name and then ring. Okay? Make sure you put your last name in there first. And then I'm going to click Save. Once that saves, we now have to put it into a file type that the 3D printer is going to read. So I'm going to go back to my orange capital letter I and I'm going to export. I'm going to export CAD format. The file name I'm going to leave the same, making sure that I'm in my H drive, first initial last name 000. I'm going to leave my file name the same, and I want to change my file type here from a DWG file, and I'm going to come down to an STL file. That's what our 3D printer reads. So choose STL file and click Save. Congratulations, you are now ready to move over to the 3D printer and print your finger ring. Great job.